you don't already know.
Well, first off, I'd just like to say congratulations on over 50 years of touring with the Destroyers. How many years is it? 52? Is it 52?
It's getting up there. Well, thank you for that.
No, but seriously, there's not many bands that can say they've been touring that long.
There's not many people say they live that long.
Exactly.
Especially in this line of work.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that is true. Anybody who thinks what we do for a living is easy are people who don't do what we do for a living. A lot of people say, oh, you play in a band, you don't work. You guys got it easy. Show business is not for sissies. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It wears on you. It wears on you. And the more success you have, either the more success you want, or it's the more you're in demand. You see, you understand that,
yeah.
Dakota. So there's that. So fighting our way through it, I don't want to be reminded of that. Because when I do, I go, are you kidding me? You know, I like it when people say, yeah, it's good to see you guys are still at it. When they say, that's half a century. That's half a century of bourbon, scotch, and beer. That's a long time.
How does it feel, though, to like still have the same people who show up to your shows, and then you have new people coming to your shows still? How does it feel to have all these generations coming?
What really feels good is I see a lot of, recently, Dakota, I've seen a lot of more young people coming to our show. I mean, really young, 8, 9, 10 years old, and they get up and boogie like crazy.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's really shocking, you know, and they just cut loose, and it's like, and they don't stop, you know, to see, you know, elderly people, I shouldn't say that, but people of an advanced mm-hmm. age, that's flattering too, because as you get older, it's harder to do things. You know, it's harder to get out of bed. Yeah. It's harder to get in the car.
The fact that they're coming to see
there's
you.
A lot of effort made there. So when I see people of an advanced age and very young people, I'm not talking young like 31, 32. I'm talking 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, you know, just going crazy on every song. I'm like, gee, what in the hell have I created?
Did you think your songs would last this long?
Of course not, Dakota. Come on, let's face reality. When we first got going, we got on the last leg. In those days, it was called FM radio. Mm-hmm. Before that, it was called underground radio. Then it became called alternative rock, but they were the same songs. Mm-hmm. They just called it something different. But when we started, there was no MTV, no classic rock. So what I'm saying is there was no House of Blueses.
Yeah.
So there were things that were created as we went along that we fit into very good. We're very fortunate with that, without having to change not that much in our show. You know, when you go to a casino or a play, they don't want to hear about it that you don't want to play bourbon, scotch, and beer or bad to the bone. That's why they hire us.
Yeah.
You see? So to answer your question, no, we didn't think we'd go. I wanted it to go as long as possible. But all those, and plus there's Sirius Radio. There's 1,000 different radio stations now that play all kinds of music. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's broad all over the world. I did an interview just yesterday that would be broadcast over 180 stations,
oh, wow.
180 countries. I didn't know there was 180 countries in the world, but that is what it has developed over the years. We didn't know that when we started. You know, nobody mm-hmm. does. That's why I would say, I look at what's going on today and I said, man, if Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Jim Morrison had just hung on, because they're bigger class. Hendrix is the greatest guitar, and Jim Morrison reminds me of the Warren Beatty of rock and roll. He's gorgeous, you know, and Janis Joplin is a dynamo. I said, if they had just hung on a little longer, you know what I mean?
What they could have seen.
Yeah, but they lived like there was no tomorrow, because in those days there was no tomorrow. You know, that was it. So I think of those things. I said, take care of your health. Who knows what the avenues of expression will be, say, 20 years from now? Mm-hmm. We don't know, you know, because
you look great. You haven't changed. Really.
Well, you just let George Clooney know that.
Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the touring you guys did in 1981, if possible. First off, you toured with the Rolling Stones a little bit. What was that like to tour with this band that was on top of the world, and you guys were performing to the same audience at the same shows? What was that like to get to do that with them?
Kind of like the first day of summer vacation, your birthday, Hanukkah, Christmas, and the greatest oral sex you ever had, all rolled into one. What are you crazy? Asking me a question like that? What was it like? It was a real drag.
So did you get to hang out a lot with Mick Jagger and Keith Richards?
A little bit, yeah. We rubbed elbows on occasion. Ian Stewart and our band were very close. I would set it straight. We didn't really tour with them. We did a lot of shows with them.
Mm-hmm.
To tour means you did the whole bit. So people ask that, for lack of other descriptions, and I understand that. I said we were fortunate to do a lot of shows with them. They just them and Mr. Graham just kept coming back at us. You know, and said, what are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing next week? What do you know, like that? And I said, I think I'm available.
You're like, I'll make it work.
Yeah, I think I can make it work, yeah.
But also that year you were doing the 50-50 tour, right?
That happened in the fall of '81, yeah.
Okay, how I can't imagine a tour like that, because today you'd never see an artist do 50 shows in 50 different states in 50 days.
That's not that. Remember, it's not 150 states.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's 50.
But still, that's almost 2 months.
Dakota, Lou Gehrig played 2,130 games in a row. Now, if you can't get excited about playing rock and roll and getting paid for it for only 50 days, then you got a problem.
And did you guys do Hawaii and Alaska too?
Yeah, we started there.
How did you make that work? Because I can't, just the flight from Hawaii to Alaska has to be...
Well, this is the line of work we chose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just got done flying all the way to New Zealand and Australia. That takes 18 hours, you know. This is our job, you know, and that's what you do. You go where you're summoned to, you know what I'm saying? So, we were a lot younger then, you know, so we didn't really give it that much thought. I mean, to play in Hawaii and Alaska back to back, well, that's a dream, because they don't get many bands there. You know, I wish they did, but it's rare that they put on shows probably because of the location.
One other question I want to ask you was about Live Aid. I was watching your Live Aid performance the other day, and you got to play at JFK Stadium, of course, which is a huge stadium in itself, but you were also playing with all these amazing artists, and not only that, you actually got an amazing artist on stage with you. You had Bo Diddley.
And Albert Collins. The star, George Segal, introduced us.
Oh.
He was in front of the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And we had no sleep. We only found out a couple of days ago because another band canceled.
Oh, so you weren't told that you were going to be on stage?
We're always on the bench. We're never anybody's first choice. But we said, okay, we were all the way in San Francisco. Had to fly there. You wanted to know about this?
Yeah.
You want to hear something hot? Before we go on, the curtain is shut. And I'm standing there getting ready with my guitar, and I see this guy all the way across the stage walking toward me. And he's got this black and white shirt. Looks like he just came from a bowling alley, you know? And just walking slowly. Mm-hmm. And he's pointing to me like this. And he goes like this, pointing. And he goes, put out your hand. He goes, hi, Jack. And he needed to say Jack who? And I said, you know who I am? And he goes, I always follow the rough boys. That's a thrill. I mean, you got George Segal introducing you, Jack coming backstage, shaking your hand, saying you're a cool cat. Can't beat that.
No, and that was before you went on the stage.
Yeah, before you went on.
That's got to rev you up to get
up.
up.
But the main thing is we had to raise money for people who were starving. Mm-hmm. That's the main issue. The other thing was just like icing on the cake. Mm-hmm. To have, you know, someone of that. There was only one Jack Nicholson. It just shocked the shit out of me. I said, are you the Jack Nicholson? I still probably never get over that. I do meet people. Remember something, I'm from Northern Delaware. It's not exactly Hollywood or New York or Chicago, with all due respect to Delaware. We go up in a very low identity state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People don't
exactly.
say, boy, when I grow up, I want to move to Delaware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for us guys to rub, Dylan came to see us play live once.
Oh, wow.
Prince came to see us.
Wow.
I mean, come on. I never.
And that's
I was like, are you shitting me, man?
That's
And
insane.
and occasionally there was a star like Jack come up and say, oh yeah, man, I really dig your stuff. I was standing in the House of Blues, and Academy Award-winning starlet Whoopi Goldberg came up and kissed me right on my mouth. I said, I never thought a kid like that, a fat, pimply kid from Delaware, come on. To fall into this kind of thing, that's the power of music. Not just the Destroyers, music in general. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It reaches everybody.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about something a little different too. I've heard that you played some semi-pro baseball.
Very semi. Very semi.
But how was it to get to play some
It was just
baseball?
something to do in the summer. It was only like a 20-game schedule. And we just, it didn't take that long. We weren't going to tour that summer. Well, we still did.
Oh,
We
wow.
still went
you
out
toured
and
while
played.
playing baseball?
Oh, yeah, we just did that, probably like a hobby.
And also, I heard stories that you, when you were doing tours like that 50-50 tour, you got to play at a huge stadium one night, and then the next night you'd be at a little pub of just a few people there.
Well, we played in Arkansas in front of 125 people. The next night we played in front of 80,000 at the Superdome in New Orleans. And we had to go on after the Neville Brothers and before the Rolling Stones. And I had a temperature of about 115. This is the business we've chosen. These things are going to happen. And you have to be ready for whatever it might be like an actor who has to shoot most of their scenes maybe in a room like this. Then there's other things. They have to shoot a scene out in the middle of the Sahara for like, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So what I'm saying is, this is the business we've chosen. Sometimes you're lucky enough to choose the venues, but you have to be ready. You have to be ready for anything.
I also want to ask you: Is there any future things in your world going?
I'm waiting for Scorsese to call. I'm sitting by the phone. Okay. All right.
Any new albums coming out that we could look forward to or anything?
Yes. Supposedly we're supposed to have a live album coming out sometime next year.
I'll be excited to listen to that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your
You're
time.
welcome,
I really
Dakota.
appreciate you sitting down with me.
Okay, no problem.
It was an honor talking with you.
Rock and roll never sleeps, it just passes out.
You're a legend.
Oh, come on, baby. That's nice of you to say.
No, you really are. I mean,
Yeah. Let's put it this way, my friend. It's one thing to be a legend on stage. I want to be a legend off stage. Okay? Errol Flynn, Warren Beatty, and so on.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You got a dream, baby. You got a dream. I'm just glad we got a hold of those songs before someone else did. Because I say this, and members of the band agree, and I want this to go for the record. I didn't make those songs famous. Those songs made me famous. Just think what would have happened if Tom Waits had done Bourbon, Scotch, and Beer.
Yeah.
What if Elvis Presley did Band of the Bone? You see what I'm saying? It was the songs that attracted me. I said, these are the songs we have to do. So the songs are legendary. I just happen to play legendary songs.
You're still a legend. There's no arguing that.
Okay. I knew I was going to like you.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome,
speaking with me. I
Dakota.
really
All the
appreciate
best.
it.